Skip. All right, guys. Hey, it's been a while, but I'm glad to be back. Uh, I got Xolo with me tonight. He was kind enough to share some bottles with me. And let me tell you guys, I mean, first of all, we know the distillery, Cali 23, comes out of the same distillery. So you know the quality is perfect. You know, are you getting an error message? Hold on a second.
No worries.
Let's see what's going on. Lead page. Oh, looks like we're there. Okay. Let me throw out a link. Copy link. Share to. We're going to share this to all things. And we'll go ahead and we'll share this with I had to create a new session. If you go to the website, you'll see it now. All right, let's see what Keith has to say. I can see you guys suddenly. Awesome. Keith, thanks, brother. So, if you guys aren't familiar with Xolo, this is same distillery as Cali 23. I know I already said it, but I don't know who's been there and who's not. So, let's go for it. Dude, this stuff is killer.
Thank you.
I've seen bits and pieces of it out there, on Facebook and of course Tequila Matchmaker app and so forth. And you sent me some bottles, and unfortunately we had a little bit of shipping damage. Personally, right. I think that it was some UPS drivers that wanted to taste it for themselves because, like you said, the label wasn't destroyed. So who knows what happened? But
yeah, exactly.
What I did get, man, that extra añejo, oh my God, that's badass. And I haven't even gotten into the two that you ended up having to send back.
I was wondering if you had already opened those or not.
No. Well, I wanted to do it live with you. Hold on a second.
Okay.
So we got the still
strength,
and we got and I got the Hoven. So I'm going to drink those for the first time live with you. I just think that'll be badass. And so far, I had some friends come over a few weeks ago, and I shared, the añejo, extra añejo, and the plata with them, and they were all truly impressed with what we had going on, or with what you have going on.
That's awesome.
And dude, it's killer.
Thanks. A lot of hard work. I wish I could claim it all to myself, but it's just my idea, and a lot of people working to make that like a reality.
So tell us about the journey. I mean, how first of all, how young were you when you first started, I guess, drinking tequila? I mean, do you have family members that have been in the industry?
Yeah, my dad's an importer distributor, so that's kind of like how I got into the industry, you could say. My mom's side of the family is from Arandas, so on one side it's the industry, and the other side it's like history, right? Like just family history. Yeah, but it was always around. My dad always, educationally try to try this one and try that, and how do you feel? What do you taste? Like trying to develop the palate when, I was maybe 11, 12 years old. So, not little sips here and there, I think. But yeah, that's when it started. That's when the love started. Because I saw it as something like beautiful and something that a lot of people should be able to enjoy. Uh, but it wasn't what I saw. Like in high school, everybody, like you go to parties and shots and not just tequila, everything. And in college, same thing, and I was like, oh man, I wouldn't be able to like enjoy. I like to enjoy my drinks. So I
Mm-hmm.
never really drank to like just get drunk or obliterated or anything like that. It was always like a passion and like, something to savor. So that was kind of, where I started my first like, tequila experience. Um, but like it goes, you never want to work with your dad because you're too similar. Stop bumping heads. And I
Right.
kind of went my own way. And I went into the educational field. I did that for 10 years. But the drive to always create a brand is like just something that I've always wanted to do. So when it was, but it's also one of those things like, if I had time, or if I wasn't busy, and I had a full-time job working at the school, and um, COVID happened, and it shut down my school, and all of a sudden I had a lot of time. So I quit my job, and I just decided to commit or quit. I took my life savings, which wasn't very much, like 45-ish K, and I started my brand with that. So it's a very small start. Uh, I'm nowhere near some of the other brands and where they start, but I'm having a natural growth, which is really nice and enjoyable.
So what were you going to school for? I got to ask.
International business.
Okay.
Yeah.
And were you on a trajectory to do something other than tequila?
So it was always like, oh, take over the import company. But it was it's nice and appealing, but for me, I feel like having a brand is more passion. I have more passion in it. So it's definitely more fun, and it's my baby. I get to develop it however I want.
Yeah, absolutely. So COVID happened, everything shuts
COVID
down.
happened, quit my job. And I register a name, I start designing bottles, I start drawing. I'm a terrible artist, but I have little sketches everywhere of like what I wanted my bottle to look like. And in my mind, I from the start I was like high proof everything, 55%. I'm not gonna mess around, the whole thing. And that was like my mindset. So when I was touring distilleries, I had like a set, like I need high proof, I need Highland, I need, you know, traditionally made, um, and that was kind of like the goals. And we toured, like me and my family, we toured the distilleries. I mean, it was like a month and a half, just in Los Altos, just touring different distilleries, trying to find the right one, the one that I like the juice, but I also have to like the people I'm gonna be working with.
Yeah.
Because you're drinking with them constantly. You have to be able to like enjoy their presence as you're creating something or tasting through barrels and stuff like that. It's that was I needed a bond. And Claudio and Hector Davalos, my master distillers, they were awesome. So from the start, I was like, this is dope. This is where I want to be. And I feel like we could do something nice here.
So being there, have you got the honor to meet Sophie yet?
I've met Sophie. Well, I bumped into her a couple times. Where she'll be like tasting barrels in another room, and I'll get there and I'll be blending something over here, and she's super nice, lovely lady.
Oh,
Great time. She's a great time.
yeah, absolutely. Uh, I've had the extreme pleasure of meeting her, and it was an amazing um, meet with her. It was short, but it was an amazing time. I mean, and that just goes to show. I mean, when people go to the distilleries and they're doing all these different things, of how many different personalities, do you interact
Hmm.
with the other brands and maybe compare notes or swap notes at all?
There's been times where there's another brand there, and I'll invite them. I mean, to you always want the more the merrier, in my opinion, uh,
Yeah.
because I'm a small guy. I don't have the money necessarily to do like market studies and all this stuff. So everything I'm doing is like in the moment. So if there's somebody else with, experience, or they also have a brand, they know maybe something that I don't know, they could taste something that I don't taste. So it's always really nice to, have other people there. But I've had a couple brand owners come down and sit down with me while I do, a barrel or a blend or something.
Anybody you care to mention that you vitalized and then you can't believe
Um,
they're sitting there drinking your stuff?
no, not quite. Anybody in specifically. I haven't had the chance to have Sophie, go through the lineup. But that would be the only really like name of note that you or and everybody here would kind of know. But I've had other brands owners there, and giving it a go.
Awesome. So COVID, you just fell out of school. Parents upset about this.
No, they're like, as long as you're doing something, you know, doesn't matter.
Awesome. And then
Yeah.
everybody's cool with it, and it's like, I'm going to go to Mexico and I'm going to start making tequila.
Yeah, well, they're like, when are we going to Mexico? And when are we?
Dad's wanting to put his 2 cents in, huh?
Yeah, always. He's always there with me. He likes profiling with me and stuff like that. So it's always kind of like, like I said, the more the merrier. So he picks up like certain notes that I don't pick up and a lot of stuff. He has a really he has a palette for to pick up like really bitter notes that might be
Mm-hmm.
like dormant for me. So he's like, "Oh yeah, there's like a bitter note at the very end, like okay," and I'll try to pick it up, but I could never. But it's always useful, to know that okay, well, that's it might be there, it might not be there for people.
Hold on a second. I'm getting messages. Um,
Okay, no worries.
so how did you end up coming up with this flavor profile that you've developed that you can obviously taste all the way through? Your expressions. I mean, it's typical Highland. Man, it's an amazing Highland sweet. That unlike the lower lands, it's more minerality. This is very nice and sweet. Uh, if I was to compare it to another distillery, you know, um, I would probably put it real close to the 1414 distillery, which has those
Hmm.
sweet notes and characteristics that I typically enjoy. So, what was the journey, and how did you end up going down that path to end up creating this flavor profile that you have?
So when you're touring, you always try like the home juice, and Um, I enjoyed it. It was very nice, and then I got to try calle there, and I was like, okay, this is even better than the home stuff. And then Hector and Claudio was like, hey, we could develop your fingerprint. Let's do it however you want. And so I had certain criterias for like agave on Highland only, certain like brick levels when at the field, stuff like that. And they're like, that's the easy part. But I mean, I wish I could take all the credit, but it's really Hector and Claudio. They just know what they're doing. Their dad has been a master distiller for ages, so they learned. It's a generational thing. So it was they created a couple profiles for me, like how do you feel, what is it, do you like it, do you not like it, up, down, um and it was just kind of a tasting thing for me. Um, and the ABV was probably the toughest choice for because I wanted it at 50 everything, like just across the board.
Right.
Um, and they had a even Hector and my dad and my mom was there, and they told me like, hey, well, you're not the only one that's going to be drinking your tequila, right? Like you you have to make it approachable for even people that are trying tequila maybe for the first time. uh and that was kind of like the process, and that was a lot of drinking because we went from 50 to 49, 48, 47, 45, 46. 44 was the lowest. I was like, I don't want to go any lower than 44. But 46 ended up being like the sweet spot for me.
Yeah, I noticed that on all the bottles that you had sent, you had put the proof level on it. Uh,
Yeah.
is the Hoven just a little bit 48? Is that right?
48. Yeah, 48 for the Hoven.
And then the high proof or the still proof is
Yeah.
50.696. Wow, you took it out there,
Yeah.
didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah. So Hector was like, hey, this qualifies for 51. It's within the margins. And I thought it would be really cool because I see a lot of mezcals that have the percentages, like
Yeah.
2%, and I was like, no, I want whatever the CRT, whatever the certification says, put that on the label, and that's why it's handwritten. You don't have it, but it's handwritten on the bottle. Let's see, where's the camera? Where's the camera? Where's the camera? Right there. Yeah, so it's handwritten right there.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's that's why I did it that way so that it can. So I don't
Unique.
know. I thought it would be cool. Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
that's
Cool.
cool. It's
It is cool. I mean, nobody else does that. I mean, they just use round numbers, and that's pretty much about it. That's to me. I looked at that when I got it, and it's like, wow, he really wants to be precise.
yeah.
I
And
thought that was very
why?
cool.
Yeah, why up it? If it's not 51, it's not 51 in my mind.
Yeah.
It's 50.696. Let's put it that.
So how many batches or how many samples did they have to make for you before you finally settled on one?
I did 4 trips back down, and it was I don't know. We would do like 4 or 5 samples at a time. And every time I would like, all right, I'd pick these two. And they're like, all right, cool. So we'll work on these. And then when you come back, we'll have those same, but like, a little different. And then like, all right, so I came back and then pick those. And then kind of kept, figuring it out and developing until I was like, this is what I want. This is perfect. What it was that I
And
wanted, I don't know. It was a palate thing. It was like this tastes good to
yeah,
me. Like
yeah,
I don't. There was no
this is money.
science or anything like that. Yeah, this is money. This is what I want. Exactly. Yeah, like I would buy this kind of thing. So that was
Yeah,
cool.
and I've seen the label and stuff, and until you sent me the artwork for the bottles for me to do my little post and ad for the deal, I never
Hmm.
realized the dog was half the label. It just
Yeah, the
doesn't
dog is
show
half the
up in a
label.
lot of the pictures you see online. And then you
Yeah, you know
showed
what?
it to me, and it's like, oh, where's that coming from? Is this a new label?
Yeah,
I thought it was cool.
yeah. No, a lot of people say that they don't notice the dog or they don't see the dog. Some people think it's a kangaroo. I mean, it's yeah, but it's on there. It's half. Jeez, I'm gonna get this camera going.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's half.
it-
Yeah.
yeah. It, so what's the fascination with the dog?
So the brand name is Xolo Xoloitzcuintle, right? And it's a dog breed.
Yeah.
It's the national dog of Mexico.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of like indigenous history with it, and a lot of Mexican history. At one point, they were almost extinct, and they had to be brought back from extinction. There was like 40 dogs left, in Mexico, and they did a whole breeding program and stuff like that, and brought it back from extinction. But it's a beautiful dog or an ugly dog. There's kind of no in between. I always wanted one. And there was my mom was like, "Oh, ugly dog. I don't want it in my house." I'm like, "All right, well, well, won't argue with you." But it was kind of I always wanted one, so now I have a lot of bottles with the image of one kind of thing.
Uh, and
Hopefully,
still no
hopefully one
dog?
day
Or?
I'll.
Oh,
I have a dog, but it's not a Xolo. Because I live in an apartment, so it's Xolos need a lot of like yard and grass and all that stuff. So my girlfriend and I have a basset hound, nice little lazy guy.
does he start howling in the middle of the night?
You know what? He actually doesn't howl yet. He's a puppy. He's 11 months.
Okay.
Somehow as puppies, but I don't know. We'll see if he ever does.
So how old were you when you really started this whole tequila
So
thing?
I'm
I
I'm
mean,
I'm
you don't look
30.
that old.
Well, thank you. I'm 35, and I started 3.5 years ago. 4 years in August, so I was 30,
Wow.
31. Yeah,
And
yeah.
what
It's
states
it's
are
been
you
a
in then?
journey. So right now I'm in California, Nevada, Arizona, Texas, Illinois, Michigan, Florida, Georgia, Tennessee. I think that's it.
You think that's it? Do we
I think
see
that's it. Yeah, I
more?
think.
Do we see more states coming online this year?
Man, I hope so. That's the goal. The goal is always to, like at least two, three states every year. Um, Illinois is the new one. I just, I got that one because I notified one of the distributors that I was going to be at Saboricultura, and I needed a distributor out there. So he was like, "Yeah, I'll help you out. I'll bring a couple cases over here, and we'll see how it moves." So, little by little, I think I'm making my way.
Well, I know a couple of guys that are on here listening have a lot of influence in some states that might be able to help you out. And maybe I can help you out here in Kansas and Missouri. Believe it or not, Missouri has an amazing tequila market. I mean,
Really,
I
I'll
know it
take
does.
it.
I mean, we have some of the best tequilas here in it. I mean, we don't have California or Colorado. I don't get Colorado, but I mean, hey, I'll take it. It's not.
I've
It's a bit of a
been,
drive for me, but I'll take
yeah,
it.
yeah. I've been trying to get into Colorado for the longest, but it seems like there's only big time distributors there. It's I need a mom and pop guy to help me out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's just
Well,
nicer to work with smaller companies, and it's just you build that bond and grow together. It's always
yeah.
beneficial.
Awesome. So tell me about the
All right, so how do
process. I mean,
how do you want to drink a little bit? Which one do you want to start with?
yeah. Well, I actually had to re-pour me some Blanco because I didn't want to get into the Hoven or the high
Okay.
proof yet.
Okay,
So
so you're
I
warming
guess
up
let
the
me
palate.
finish
Let me.
off.
I'll join you. Which one do you? Oh, okay, you want to do the Joven next or the Reposado?
You know what? I haven't opened up the Reposado yet. Let's
Oh,
do
well,
it.
let's do that.
Uh,
Yeah, those are
so
tough.
yeah, um, tell me about the process. What is the process of making it? Are you
So so the process is low pressure autoclave, roller mill, open air fermentation with agave yeast. Um, and the cool thing is that because it's such small like production, it's not continuous. So every time we 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 ferment, it's a new batch of agave yeast that we
right?
we that Hector and Claudio get from the field that it's coming from. So that's kind of a cool little note. Distillation is stainless steel with copper coils, and that's you get to
what
the
you
plata
do
at that
pick
point.
up, what you do pick up on the copper. I mean, it takes a lot of that burn from the high proof away, or higher proof away,
Higher
which
proof,
makes
right?
it a lot more tolerable and enjoyable. Let's see. Yeah, I was digging that plata.
So the reposado. The reposado
How
should
many?
have the info on the back of the label. I believe you have the newest edition, so it's a 2-barrel blend, barrel 5 and 6, French
Yep.
oak, 5 months, and then bottle, I don't know what, of 354.
233.
There you go. Bottle 233 of 354.
So very small batches.
Yeah. Yes, very small batches.
And is it because you stash some aside for each expression, a little bit here, a little bit there, so you can keep the flow of, well, the anejo, the extra anejo?
Yeah, I mean, it's not because I'm holding off or anything like that. It's just we kind of make what's needed, and we just kind of like develop it, like try to plan as far ahead in the future as possible.
Mm-hmm.
But like the Hoven, was a big hit for us. So we had a like, okay, kind of like, what are we gonna do? Because it does have añejo in it, and it does have reposado in it. So it's like, all right, well, try to do this and do that. So it's you could see, and that's why lot two of the Hoven is they're both American oak, reposado and American oak, añejo. But lot one was American oak, reposado, and French oak añejo. And lot three, we went back to the lot one blend, which is American oak repo and French oak añejo.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
And this particular repo, it's all French oak, right?
all French oak. Yeah, yeah. So like everything, all my lots, they kind of vary. Because when I go down there, I go down there every other month or every 2 months or what so. We open barrels and like, all right, let's check this out. How is it doing? Is it developing? Is it changing? Um, and so that's why the information on the back label is super important, because my next lot might be American oak. It's always kind of changes back and forth. Like if I think that something's really good and worth bottling, then I'm gonna bottle it.
Right, right. Um, Dude, I like this, and I like the French oak. It adds to me. I dig a lot of French oak barrels compared to the American oak. Not saying that I don't like the American oak, but it just adds a little bit of, and I'm going to say, sexiness to it, to the tequila. You don't
Yeah,
get that, that bourbon, notes that are trying to come through and take over the agave. It The French to me is just a nice accent to it. It's not trying to take it over. It's just giving you little hints of
yeah.
notes that makes it
I,
truly enjoyable.
I would agree with you on that. I think French oak is like you said, sexier. It's a little more subtle, not as, but
Yeah.
the complexity is still there. But it's like it's a subtle complexity. So it's something you have to like definitely like keep drinking, and kind of find it as you go.
So out of all the, I mean, your entire lineup. I mean, you got an extra anejo, so you've done it at least 3 years or better. Out of
Yeah.
it, what has been your favorite expression so far?
Oof. It's like
And
picking.
is there
It's like
particular lots? What's that?
it's like picking a favorite child. It's tough.
Well, they don't listen.
Um, man, I think the Hoven is what I drink the most.
Mm-hmm.
I am drinking the still strength quite a bit right now. Um, man, it's just there's I don't know. I think this new lot of añejo, the one that you have, the one that I have here on my table,
Okay,
it's what lot is this?
that's extra. I got these mixed
Lot
up.
six. It's my lot
Okay.
six. Is probably my favorite añejo that I've released so far. But it is my goal to make every lot better than the last. So that's always kind of something that I try to do. So as far as like, your favorite, I hope my favorite is the next lot that I, release kind of thing. So I hope that's how it keeps going.
What was there a particular time period, during the launch, or maybe not even the first batch? It's like, okay, I got something here. We're going to go to market, and then it's like maybe you did the next batch, or the next expression, and it's like, oh wow, I got something special here. And how proud was your dad?
I think he's proud of me every day. I hope so. But I think the just seeing something that you dreamed in your head uh come to fruition, and like the first time I was bottling was like, this is awesome. Like, this is so cool. Um and then the second time that happened, I think, would be with the lot one Hoven, and just seeing everybody's reaction to it was like, man, okay, I think I have something here. And that's the first one. Total Wine picked that up for 3 states, so it was like a really quick sale. Like, we got it. It's the lot one's here, and then boom, it's gone, and you're like, oh man, okay, this is cool. I can get used to this, like, kind of feeling.
And what lot do I have here of the Hoven that you sent me?
Lot three, the newest
Lot
lot.
3.
Yeah,
And how do you feel that's going to do in the market? Is it out in the market
I love
yet?
this. Yeah, it's out in the market now. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So lot one is almost all gone. You'll probably find a couple at Total Wine. Uh, lot two is mostly in Texas and Arizona, and then lot three I have in my warehouse, but it's going out. It's moving.
Okay. Can they
Yeah.
order it
Oh,
online from you yet?
yeah. So Roadrunner, I know most of you guys know Roadrunner. They have a special where you order a Blanco bottle with anything else, and you get free shipping. So that's
Okay.
that's always kind of cool. Yeah.
And do they have your entire lineup, including
They
lot
have
3 of the uh, um, Hoven?
They have everything, yeah. And if they don't, I'll
Awesome.
talk to Matt and they'll pick it up.
Uh, yeah, tell them they need to. Um, man, I dig the repo. I mean, it's so subtle on the wood. You still get to smell so much of the agave.
Mhm.
There's nothing that's blowing you away, with it. I mean, just subtle hints of wood, but I mean, wow, that is really really good. I enjoy that.
Thanks. Thank you.
Salute. Um,
Yes, senor.
so what's the next plan? I mean, are you going to start doing some single barrel stuff maybe?
I've had a couple people approach me about single barrels. I would love to do single barrels. But I'm currently trying to concentrate on the transition to 700 mLs.
Oh
So
yeah,
I'm
because I mean these are 1 liters.
they're all 1 liters, correct? I have a couple. I have like 1,000 bottles of glass left. And once those are gone, it'll be everything 700. Um, so that's kind of like the big push, is trying to get that glass, trying to get that, those sales going so that I can transition to the smaller bottle. obviously that's going to help with price, and people see it out. Because I feel like a lot of people don't notice that they're liters,
Yeah.
especially if you go to a liquor
Yeah.
you go to a liquor store, and especially if the tequila's in the back, and they have the little shelf, stopper or whatever. That's going to cover the 1 liter part on there. It's shorter than
Yeah.
a lot of bottles, the standard bottles. It's a little thicker, and a lot of people just um, don't even notice and just see the price, and they're like, "Oh, well, that's expensive." So it's. I hope the transition helps people like want to try it for the first time, and it's going to be a little more, price a little more affordable for everybody as well. So that's going to be kind of nice.
Yeah, and that
So
was
that's
one of the
that's.
things that you mentioned, how you were trying to lower the price point in order, to help push some sales and
Hmm.
get it in more people's hands
Right.
when we
Yeah,
first
because
started
I
chatting.
feel. Yeah, I feel like if people try it, they're gonna love it, right? It's good. It's good juice. I just have to get people to have, how do you get people to spend, $70 or $75? So it's easier to get people to spend maybe $55 or $60. The jump is not
Absolutely.
crazy, but even at the liquor store, you're like, oh, do I spend $55 or do I spend $75? It's still a jump. So hopefully with a smaller bottle, that really just kind of gets the more liquid to lips, as they say.
So is it still going to have the embossed or raised logo on the
Yeah, yeah.
back?
So I have the bottle design already. The still strength is actually the first 700 that we released. So yeah, it still has
Okay.
the Xolo embossed in the back. But the we did an etching instead of the sticker for the still strength. Where's that?
Yeah, that's
So we
badass.
we yeah, and then we did the pink label. So yeah, so this is first 700 release. And people are liking it. People are, it's easier to handle as well. It doesn't the liter bottles weigh about 4 pounds, 4.5 pounds each.
Yeah, it's about right.
So
When I was
so
pregnant, the first baby.
yeah, exactly. So even like shipping and all that stuff is gonna be, it's
Yeah.
gonna, pennies are gonna be saved. So that'll be nice.
Yeah.
So that's
Although I
that's
do
the
dig
big.
these, I may have to order all of them so I could just have the old bottles on my shelf. This is I dig it. I just
Yeah.
it's a statement.
Yeah, well, my initial thought, honestly, was when because I drink with a lot of buddies and friends and family, and when we buy a 750 bottle, it just doesn't ever make it all the way, you know.
It's like
So
buying
when
a
I was
pitcher of
developing,
margaritas. You only get 4 drinks out of it.
yeah, exactly, yeah, exactly. So it's in my mind. I was like, oh, liter bottle, people are gonna love it, and they're gonna go through it, and I got a lot of feedback of like, hey, I want to try your other lots. Like I'm on lot 2 of your repo, and I know you're on lot 6, but I'm gonna have 7-liter bottles in my bar that I don't drink that fast. I don't drink enough. So it's like it makes sense. Not everybody drinks
Yeah.
like me or like you or like probably half the chat. But it's definitely, so it's just it's gonna make it easier, a little more flow, and nicer for everybody.
Yeah. No, for sure. And with that lower price point, it's going to allow people to maybe explore a little bit more. I mean,
Right.
it seemed like right there at COVID, $45 to $50 was the sweet spot, and everything that came out at that price point just flew off the shelves. I mean, Jaguar did it, Lagrimas did it,
Hmm.
and Yayo did it, and I mean, they're highly successful brands. So I wish the best for you, and hopefully, some of the guys that I know that are on here, they'll help you get into some additional states. So you may have to bump up your next order.
I love it. Let's do it. Let's rock and roll.
Uh, so all right, I finished my repo.
I'm done.
What
Hoven
what
time.
what? Yeah. Oh, yes. All right, and I haven't had this yet.
All right. Uh-oh.
I
Moment
cut
of truth.
I cut off the tape. I cut off the tape,
Oh,
but I haven't even smelt it yet.
All this talk, and you haven't tried it yet, so we'll see.
You know, I had to leave something, you know, as a moment of wow.
So this is a 48% ABV. The blend is 80% plata, 10% reposado, and 10% añejo.
Nice. Now, has it always been that mix through all three?
It's always been. It's always been the three.
Nice, because I thought I saw somewhere where it was, you know, 80-10 or something like that. Well, I guess 80-10-10. Yeah.
You're missing another 10 there, Chi.
Yeah. My math's messed up. It may be the juice.
There you go. And this is 48% ABV. Yeah. So upped it just a little bit. Just, you know, personal preference. They're like, what ABV? Like, it's new edition. Let's up it. Let's go up a little bit.
And the legs on this thing is forever. So you got amazing oil content in here. Guys, if you haven't ordered this yet, and I'll have to get the name from you again to make sure everybody knows where to go and get this. But this is awesome, and I haven't even tasted it yet. It's very nice on the nose.
Thank you.
So, what was the inspiration? How did you come up with the 80-10-10 mark or mix?
That was.
Were you sitting there at the table drinking and just start throwing shit together?
That's exactly what happened. I was I was sitting at a table. I was talking to Hector and Claudio, and I was like, "Hey, man, I want to make a Joven at, you know, at a high 48% ABV or, you know, 49% ABV. How do we go about it?" And like, all right, well, you know, it's, you know, we could blend anything. It could be any. There's no rules. So percentages, you know, it could be a drop, and it could be a Joven. So it was.
And for people who don't know, it's basically an unaged tequila mixed with an aged tequila. It doesn't matter if it's Repo Añejo or Extra Añejo. That is the rule set by the CRT.
Yeah, and so then percentages are wild, right? They're infinite.
Right.
So it was a lot of drinking. It was a lot of trial and error. It was a lot of try this and try that. And the goal for me was not to make a really good reposado.
Right. And the thing that I do like about, you know, the Jovens is, you know, you still get a little bit of that heat and on this, I'm noticing it more than the Plata. You know, you get a little bit more of the pepper on the tongue. You know, not that I would, but, you know, if you were to make an amazing ranch water, it would cut through, you know, the citrus from the lime in the ranch water, and you would know that you have tequila in there. Maybe a little bit of light pepper or something. So you get a little bit of the heat that you lose when you do the aged expressions in most cases. But you still get, you know, a little bit of that, you know, aged expression flavor popping through on the way back down as you're palating it. Yeah, that's nice. I like that, and that's some of my favorite Jovens is, you know, that where you're sipping it, you still have a little bit of the heat, but you're getting some of that, you know, aged expression notes to go along with it.
Right. Yeah. For me, you know, it has to be really complex. It has to be. I like to say it's elegant. You know, it's an elegant tequila. Like it's just so nice, and like, take your word, it's very sexy. You know.
Right. You know, one that I know that a few of them that are on here that went to Mexico with me, I always compared tequilas to working girls and professional girls. So you have some tequilas that just they want to shake and move, and there's a lot going on, and spicy, or you got a lot of cinnamon cooking, and your mouth is just, the taste buds are dancing and stuff like that. And then you get into some of the and I loved your age expressions, but this is really good. But you get into the your aged expressions, and to me they're sexy, they're elegant, they're let's cuddle up on the couch and have a nice evening type of thing. Where this one wants to go out and party.
Yeah,
And that's how I explained a lot of tequilas.
I might start using those analogies. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, how can you not love something that's beautiful? And this is really good. I do like this better than, and I'm not discrediting anything, but all right, so far this is my number one of your lineup.
Okay.
But
okay.
I'm wondering if that's going to hold, because man, I do remember your aged expressions, and I was just blown away. So, but I do like how you got that working girl in there, but yet it's very palatable. It's not obnoxious, and it drinks real easy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's another like note that I like about like my fingerprint, or as the entire lineup, is that they might be high proof, but for me, high proof is not about more alcohol. It's not about like just punch you in the face. For me, high proof means more flavor. It means let it open up, take your time with it. It might even be like dangerous. Like it's something that you have to sit down and enjoy.
Right.
And that was, almost on purpose. It's just I want people to slow down. I don't want you to be like, oh, it's like, boom, it's water or whatever. I want people to like, okay, I know it's high proof. Let me, dive into it. Just take my time, and that's the goal.
Yeah. So you mentioned, you have a girlfriend. Does she drink tequila?
She drinks tequila. She's also a big whiskey and scotch person. So,
wow.
So, yeah.
Wow. Usually you don't swing that far. I mean, you usually try to stay,
No,
Scotch.
she teaches me. She teaches me. I teach her. It's kind of that thing. So this is like my little tequila area, and then she has a little like a bar set up in like the kitchen dining room area with all her whiskeys and scotches and stuff like that. So it's a good time.
Does she make you try things a lot?
Yeah, we try things all the time. But she's like, "Have you had this before?" I'm like, "No, I haven't had that before." Like, all right, let's open it up, and and those are high ABVs. Those are like,
yeah,
those are like 57. I'm like, damn, that is potent. So you at that point you really have to slow down and take your time with it. Let it open up and do all that.
It's like going to the Caballito distillery, and they're dragging out stuff that 70 and 80 proof. You're just, all right, just a small sip, and they're throwing the stuff in the bottle, and
yeah, the glass is almost half full. You're like, oh, this is
no, here, I'm going to share this with somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, this is awesome. So your lineup is amazing. I mean, I cannot say that enough, guys.
Thank you.
It is very pleasant on the nose, very easy to drink. I think with the copper coils and everything, it kind of mellows out that higher APB peppery taste that you get out of a lot of other distilleries, where they're using, all stainless steel or something like that. But I mean, and then with the Highland agaves, you're getting those nice sweet notes. It's so mellow. I think I can, and my wife does not. I mean, she'll drink tequila with me if I make her go to Mexico with me, but I
Yeah.
typically cannot get her to drink tequila with me at home. And I have a fair amount of tequila bottles, so I got to invite my friends over, and then we drink, and there goes that story. So, but this is actually really enjoyable, and this Hoven, to me, it is a home run.
Thank you.
Like I
Yeah.
said, you got a little bit of a working girl in there, and then you have a very elegant girl in there. It's a
There you
mix.
go. She cleans up nice, if you will.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, it, never mind. I'm not going to go there. But yes, it cleans up nice. Take her to home to mama.
Right.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, any other things that you may have coming down that you're looking to experiment with? Any exotic
Oh
woods?
man,
That's really starting to become a thing.
I see a lot of people doing that. I mean, I think I would like to like do a little more research. I have asked, Hector and Claudio, how they feel about stuff like that, and it's a mixed bag because you kind of never know what you're gonna get, result wise. So we're trying stuff out. I'll put it that way.
Okay.
There is stuff in the works as far as that experimental. Um, New stuff that's gonna come out like by the end of the year is a new extra añejo that I'm gonna come out with. It's gonna be a Day of the Dead. It's a ceramic dog. It's a nice bottle.
Ooh.
So this will be the bottle.
Oh, that's bad. That is. Take it out just a little bit so we can see the head of the dog too. Yeah, there you go. That is sweet. Oh, I gotta have one of those.
Yeah.
I
So
love the
in
artwork.
this, yeah, it's this bottle is a piece of art, as you say.
Right.
What's gonna be the juice in here? Ooh, let me come back. The juice in here is gonna be I'm gonna release two single barrels, cask strength, um, and that'll be 52 or 53% ABV extra añejo, 4 years. American oak and French oak. That's the up and coming.
Um, any thoughts on maybe playing with a rum barrel?
I haven't done it. I would love to do it. I just like I said, I mean I'm open for anything. As of right now, I don't think I want to say what I'm working with. I'll just put
Okay.
it.
Okay. All
See,
right.
we'll keep
All
it a
right.
secret
We got some
until
secrets.
you invite me to a next live, and then we'll talk about it
All right.
once it gets
Done
closer.
and done.
Perfect.
All right. I'm
What'd you
on the
pour yourself?
Anejo. Anejo.
Añejo.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to go up and then I'm going to go back to the high proof.
Okay. So the añejo, my favorite añejo so far, and I'll kind of tell you why. This añejo is lot 6. Just verify lot 6. It is a single barrel. It is French oak. It is 2.5 years old. So my oldest añejo that I've ever released. Uh, this this barrel was supposed to be an extra añejo. Um, but I've had barrels before where I'm like, oh, this is meant to be this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I try it at a reposado, and it's really good. And I'm like, no, 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 but I want it to be an añejo. It's gonna be even better, right? And then I try it again in 3 months, and I'm like, oh, it's not as good. So you have to like wait another 3 months or 6 months and see how it changes. So I'm getting better at, if I like it, even though it's not meant for something, just to bottle it or even take it out of the barrel. So this barrel that it turned into an añejo, or not turned into an añejo, it's an añejo, was meant to be an extra añejo. It's 6 months shy. So it does. I loved it. It has really interesting notes. It's delicious.
And that's the same one I got, right?
That's the same one you got.
Yeah. I'm telling you, once I had the aged expressions, because I got to try the Plata. I didn't open up the repo, obviously, because I opened it up
Yeah.
on the screen. But I tried the Plata, and I really enjoyed it. It was an amazing, simple sipper that, again, you could just sit in the corner by yourself, listen to a little bit of music, and sip that all night long. Very easy. And before you know it, you're talking to the priest or rabbi. But then I got to try that. Then I got to try your aged expressions, and I was like, "Holy shit!" I mean, this is. I immediately had within, I think, the next week, I immediately had to have some people over to the house and share some with them and watch their expression of trying this. I mean, because it's not a locally available here in the Midwest. I mean, you're going to
Yeah,
have
no,
to
it's
order
not.
it, unfortunately. And to buy all of them, well, if you're saying 4 pounds, well, 4 pounds, that's a lot of
But
weight. You're shipping.
but remember, free shipping if you buy from Roadrunner. So
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I got to remember that. And wow. I mean, the barrel, but so subtle. It's not like all you smell is wood.
you wouldn't think it was 2.5 years.
No, no, not at all. I got a 2.5. I got a 2 year and 4 month experimental bottle that somebody gave to me, and this one's a lot lighter on the nose for the barrel, and it's also 100% French oak.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
this
this
one
was
here is a lot more subtle.
right.
So when it hit, oh, I love the way that dances on the tongue. You get that, little caramel notes, that typical, French oak subtleness. It's just so light and sexy. Um, it's an amazing sipper. This is the type of stuff that you start drinking, and before you know, the 1 liter bottle is empty, and you're crawling back up the stairs or to go to bed or something.
I think you're just
So,
sleeping where you are if you polish off a bottle.
uh, well, maybe with the 750 or the 700, I can do that.
700. There you
Um,
go.
so you go down there, you pop the cork on the barrel, and you
Yeah.
pull it out, and you start sampling, and what you think?
Yeah. Man, well, we opened up 10 barrels that day, or 10-ish barrels. I mean, it's a lot of drinking at 9 a.m. Um,
Yeah,
and
been
I
there.
I think everybody just, we all had the same reaction. We were like, all right, drink one, drink two, drink three, drink four. And we got to this barrel, and we all just like took, right off the nose. We're like, oh man, this is crazy, um, super complex. I looked around. I was like, all right, reactions, and they're like, everybody's like, kind of like, and then we tried it, and everybody was just like, that is phenomenal. You know.
I thought you were going to
So
throw out another F word out there. It's all good.
I don't know. This is on Facebook. I don't want to get kicked out. And then I was like immediately like I was kind of bummed because I knew this was supposed to be an XA. But I was like so
You're 6
don't
months
fight it, don't
away.
fight it. Yeah, I'm like don't fight it, don't fight it, don't fight it. Just bottle it, you know. And it's I just had to do it. I had to, and hopefully, you know, I was like I hope it's worth it, you know. Um, to do something like this because I know, especially in the connoisseurs, you know, the older it is, the more it's too much wood, it's too much this, too much that. But I think this is super well balanced. I mean, it's 2.5 years,
No.
but it's you still get, you know, a lot of flavor, a lot of, you know, agave on there. I pick it up. I mean, I don't know if I'm that's
Yes.
just delusional because I'm the owner, but it, you know, but for me, it's really super well balanced añejo. So it's just I
Was your
had to do
dad
it.
with you?
Yeah, he was there,
Did
and
your girlfriend go with you on this one trip?
no, she didn't go with me on this trip, but she as soon as I get home, I bring water bottles with the different stuff that we
Yeah.
do, or like try this or try that, or you have to try this sample. You know, like I'm sure you get water bottles that you're like, all right, well, I'm taking this home. It's water, but it's yeah, it's yeah. My girlfriend Kristen, she always says like I'm scared to drink water bottles around the house because I never know if they're actually water. Uh, I'm like, fair enough.
Just
I
means
mean,
you get to
yeah,
start your morning off right.
yeah, fair enough. I mean, that's a fair assumption. But she backed. I mean, she likes the aged expressions a lot. That's her bread and butter. But she said that this is very good, like a good pick.
Yeah, no, this is an amazing pick. I mean, again, when I went from the Plata, I didn't open up the Repo, and I went straight to the Anejo, which generally Repo is my jam. I mean, I still
Okay.
like a lot of that, a lot of that. Um, fresh agave or cooked agave right up front, and just subtle hints of wood to it.
Yeah.
But I, you know, if you were to ask me, what is my preferred drinking expression, and I go, it depends on the brand.
Right.
Every brand has what I call a star of the show. And if I was
Mm-hmm.
going to sell your brand, and I got to go back to the anejo or extra anejo, I mean, your extra aged expressions or your aged expressions, I mean, they're right up there with some of the top ones that I would typically pull off the shelf to influence somebody to buy tequila,
Yeah.
because I
Thank
got a
you.
lot of bourbon people around me, and I'm always trying to convert them, and they're always trying to convert me, but they never do it. I keep
No,
on
thank you. That
asking
that
them,
means a lot.
why in the hell do you drink this shit? But
Yeah.
that's another story.
That means a lot. Thank you. That's really high praise. I appreciate that.
But it's an amazing notes, and with that sweetness of the typical highland agaves. I mean, your aged expressions are amazing. I mean, that this Aneo is tops. Um, I think you hit it on the head when you pulled it at this level. Although you always have to wonder, what would it
I
be at
mean,
6 more months,
that's
right?
that's the thing that as an owner, you know, you're always like, oh man, would it have been better, or would it have could it have been my best
Yeah,
extra añejo ever?
yeah,
I don't know. It's my best añejo as of right now, you know. But at the same time, you're like, all right, well, how do I top this on my next lot?
yeah. And are you doing any blending as of yet, or
So
is
not
it
no,
pretty
all
much
my lots are
just
small.
single barrel stuff?
all my lots so far have been single barrels.
So there's no reason to do a single barrel program because every program is single barrel.
All my my añejo and my extra añejo are all single barrels.
So there's no reason to ask for a CJ Agave barrel pick, right?
I mean, you could do one. You could come down with me and like, all right, let's open up some barrels and try stuff. I mean, I think that the key to like barrel programs for me is going to be ABV.
Yeah.
Because not a lot of people barrel at 55.
Right. No, they don't.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to extend their dollar. I mean,
right. Yeah.
And I don't mean to make them sound cheaper or anything, but they're extending their dollar.
Yeah. So that's what I could play with. CJ Agave could have an añejo at 50, or whatever, or even a reposado at 50. That's what I could play with. As far as like single barrels and alcohol, as long as it doesn't go lower than 46, because that's my base.
Yeah, that's your base. So 47 and higher.
47 and higher.
All
yeah,
right.
I mean, I'm always up for it.
I don't have any trips to Mexico planned yet this year. Well, I've already done 2, so
yeah. Next time I'm down there, or when I plan a trip, I'll have to let you know and try to meet up at the distillery and try to open up some barrels.
Yeah, I haven't. So I haven't been to that distillery. This last trip was the first time I got to meet Sophie, so I have a little bit of a connection at that distillery now. But I always try to visit. I got a few distilleries I always have to go to and see. Sergio Cruz is my brother from Mexico, and I have to visit him every time I go there.
That distillery is super dangerous. I think that's the only distillery besides my own, and because I'm drinking my own products, that's the only distillery that I get out of there, and I'm just like blurry. Because he starts bringing out those plastic bottles with all the different yeast and all that stuff, and of course I'm not gonna say no. I need to try them. I need to see what's out there for work purposes, and that's definitely a big drinking distillery for sure.
Yeah, and they're starting to take Sergio Cruz out of the picture a little bit, out of the limelight, unless you've been there, and I kind of feel sorry for everybody who if you're just now starting to get into it and doing tequila distilleries or tours and stuff like that, because he is a special character. And when I say character, I mean he's a character, and you get a little bit of tequila in him, and then he just starts. I mean, yes. So and I'll cut it short because I don't want to make it about Sergio, but I go down there, and I always have my backpack with me with my computer just in case I want to do something. But he'll start dropping those 1-liter sample bottles in my backpack. Well, I went down there in January, and he threw 7 of them in my backpack.
Game over.
And I'm like, holy cow. Well, I got them all home, and I've been taking them around and sharing with people and liquor stores and stuff like that. And it's like, is this shit bottled? Is this shit bottled yet? And it's like, no, not yet. But who knows? Maybe it'll be a All Things Tequila brand tequila or something. I don't know. And he's a character. I mean, no different than the zombie sticker we got back here. Yeah.
Yeah. That's such a cool label. I like that. That's genius. I love it.
Yeah. Keith Bogart did it, and Ken is the one who came up with the name. And they were hanging out with Sergio Cruz and Alex, and they were blending shit, and
Yeah.
Ken throws out zombie, and then Keith designed the label. So, and hopefully
and
we'll have
the
some
rest
shirts
is history, as they
soon.
say.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
rest is
it ends
history.
up being, yeah. We need to do that with yours.
Yeah, we got to figure out something, huh? Something cool.
Yeah, something cool like that. All right, we got 2 left to go. I'll make these small pours so I don't.
No, come on now.
Well, smaller pours.
All right, fair enough.
So at
extra
the
añejo is 3-year extra añejo, aged in American oak bourbon barrels, and that is a fully etched bottle, so there's no label.
That is sweet.
Yeah, I'll back it up. So, there you go.
Yeah,
it's hard to see with the lighting, but it's no label.
No,
all etched.
You get the idea. And you just started that, or that you with the extra añejo? That's all you've done.
So my lot 1 is a paper label like the rest of the line. But I wanted to up it to make it look a little nicer because it is an XA and people are spending a little more money for it. So I wanted to also spend a little more money on it, and I didn't change the price from the paper label to the etched, even though it cost me more. It just made a little less. But I wanted to give people a nicer bottle, something that they're like, check out this fancy bottle I bought, or brag about it a little bit. The etching does take quite a bit. It takes about 4 hours a bottle to etch it.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's not laser. Yeah, it's not laser. It's hand etched. So it takes a while. A lot of man hours.
And is it all down there in Mexico?
Yeah, that the etching is done in León, Guanajuato.
So you're helping out people down there, just like some of the other stories we've heard from Scully and those type of brands, doing the artwork.
I mean everything I do is Mexico. Everything,
even the glass.
Everything I do is in Mexico. Yeah, I don't even the glass. Yeah, the glass is made in Mexico City, or right outside of Mexico City. Labels are made in Guadalajara. Etching is done in León. The cork is done in Guadalajara as well. So there is no outside of Mexico production.
Smart. So everybody who was doing offshore stuff during COVID that ran out of bottles and was scrambling, you were okay. Well,
yeah,
you were just starting.
Well, yeah, I was a baby. I mean, I don't order a lot either, so. So I'm like, what's your minimum? Okay, I'll take that. I'll do the minimum. Yeah, I'll do that. That's my first question to a lot of the providers, suppliers are like, what's your minimum? And just make sure we're in the same realm of, possibility kind of thing. So
I have some people in mind. I'll have to hook you up with. I would love to get this here in Missouri. And with the 700 and the price, I mean, not that the price really means much at the quality of these tequilas. I mean, the 1 liter I think would be fine. But
yeah,
the and I hate using the word juice, but the tequila is amazing. And if you haven't tried it, where can they get it?
Roadrunner has the free shipping. Roadrunner Spirits. Yeah.
All right. So everybody needs to go to Roadrunner.
I think somebody threw out a link on the chat. I think it was.
Did they? Okay. Awesome.
Somebody. I saw it earlier. I don't know if it's still on there. Yeah, Jeff threw a link on the chat.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I love
time.
this.
What do you think? This is probably. I smoke cigars. CJ, I don't know if you do, but I smoke cigars, and this is This is my cigar, baby. This is what I pour myself a good pour, and I go to the backyard, and I just 2-3 hours out there, just taking my time, enjoying it. This is what I do with the XA, basically. This is
And with the 1 liter, you don't have to get up and get another bottle.
There you go. Yeah, you're out there all day, all night if you want.
Yeah, you got enough to get through a cigar and have a little bit left to, finish rinsing the palate and go back in.
There you go.
I love the nose on this. And again, it's not heavy wood for being a 3-year.
3-year extra añejo.
Extra añejo. It's still very light. You almost still have to reach a little bit for, really getting those barrel notes, comparatively speaking. So char, or very light char, I'm going to say.
Yeah, so we actually, everything we do is they're wet barrels. So it's just whatever was in there. We just put the tequila in there. Make sure it's clean, obviously, and then we
yeah. So you don't rechar anything.
Not yet. Maybe in the future, but not yet.
And I think that's what keeps it so sexy, though. I mean, because you're not competing with all that aesthetic that you get from the char.
Right.
That's amazing. So do you have some barrels?
I'm going to answer a question on the chat real quick, CJ.
Sure.
Somebody asked me what the difference between the Blanco or the Plata and the Blanco position is. The position bottle is a special edition that we did, a collaboration with a rapper he works with Bone Thugs and Harmony. So he wanted to do a little special edition for himself. So that's the only difference. It's still 46% ABV. There's no production difference. It's just a special lot. But the Platas and the Blanco, they do vary lot from lot, obviously, like everybody knows. Lot from lot, they all kind of just change. So that's the difference. It's a different lot.
Let's see if we can get in.
I don't know if Jeff was still on the chat or not, but that's he asked the question. Yeah. So the XA, what'd you think? Delicious,
dude. I love I explain a lot of XAs like creme brulee.
Yeah.
Because it has a lot more barrel influence, but I don't put this in that class. Not discrediting this at all. I actually think it's a step above creme brulee. Because creme brulee, you got a lot of sugar and heavy notes in it, and when it hits the palate, coats the entire palate, and it almost masks some of the tastes of some of the tequila. Where this one's still very light, and it's still very light to where you can taste a lot of the tequila still, or the agave. You still have a lot of barrel influence, but it's still so light that there's still a lot of influence from the agave in there, but you still have a lot of that light caramel. I mean, there's no real like screaming caramel in it, but it's still an amazing dessert. And I'm trying to think of what dessert that I would compare it to. Or, this is the girl that you want to take to prom and hoping you're going to marry her.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah. I get some, it's kind of weird. Like, so I'm a big bread pudding guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I get some like bread pudding almost like that
Yeah.
sweetness. It's not overpowering. But that I mean that's the cool thing about doing tastings and even like blinds and stuff, right? And so I eat bread pudding. If the menu has bread pudding, I'm gonna order. I'm gonna order it. So I when it talks about like creme brulee and stuff like that, I don't really relate to that because I think I've ever had it maybe one time. So I do kind of relate more to like a bread pudding or like a like that's my dessert basically, or like
Right.
a
Right.
so
But
that's
to me, bread pudding. It's the influence of course, the bread. Everything's very subtle,
hmm
and that's probably a perfect analogy for this. You don't have so much barrel influence that it just destroys anything else that you're going to taste. And
right.
it's amazing on the nose. I I mean, between the anejo and extra anejo, especially the anejo that I have
Yeah.
and the extra anejo, I mean, that's a hard choice. I mean, you don't want to pick a
I mean,
favorite. You
it's a
have no
6 month
favorite kid.
difference.
Yeah.
It's I okay. So here's I think if I had to go and pick,
A favorite kid.
I would buy both of them. No, no, I can't. It's kind of like what we were saying, or like the situational, correct?
Yeah.
Like if I'm in the backyard bonfire smoking a cigar, extra añejo all day.
Yeah.
If I want something like after dinner, like a nice little like nightcap, if you will, I'm doing the añejo. I think
But they're still
that's the best way to.
46%.
Yeah, they're both 46% ABV. It's still high proof, so it's just
Um,
just preference kind of thing.
and
Well,
I
I
was
mean, what
going
would
to
you
say,
say?
it, I mean, they're both very, very, very good. Um, both have very similar characteristics, but just because you had the etched bottle, I'd probably go with the extra anejo
Okay,
because of the presentation.
yeah, fair enough.
But I mean, both of them are phenomenal. If you didn't want to pay for the etched bottle, I'd still pick the anejo all day long.
Yeah,
If you weren't worried
yeah,
about
absolutely.
presentation. But I love seeing the bottles on my shelf and you know the
Yeah,
glitz and the glamour and stuff. But the anejo and the extra anejo, I mean, those are two. They're twins. They're the same
heavy
personalities.
hitters.
I couldn't
Yeah,
pick either one. If it was
yeah,
just a bottle, I couldn't pick it. It
yeah,
would be super.
yeah. Absolutely, I agree with you. I think it's a tough choice. Luckily, we don't have to make that choice. we, we have both of them. Both of them
Yeah,
available
yeah.
to us.
Okay. Are we ready to get into the high proof?
Let's do it. Let's do this. Let's do this, baby.
All right. So
All right. So this one
fifty
does change.
point six
Fifty
nine
point
six.
six nine six. This one does change a little bit. Um.
Explain.
So so I got a call from Claudio, which is he's Hector's brother, both are master distillers, and he says, Ernesto, they're offering me these agaves. They're delicious. They're great. They're super high sugar content. Um, I'm like, all right, well, let's do it. Let's rock and roll. And he's like, yeah, but they're in an Arenal.
They're
I'm like,
what?
okay, well, they're in Arenal. They're low. They're valley. They're
Okay.
in the Tequila Valley. And I'm like, okay, well, that's not like my set rules. It's not one of them. It's a no. And he's like, no, trust me, these agaves are beautiful. They're gonna be great. So I'm like, all right, but what do we do? Because I don't want to mess with with the same profile that I have going, right? Like, how do you add something different without changing what you have? He's like, oh, we'll do something special, special edition, something. All right, cool. So then, so like, all right, let's do it. Let's try it. Let's give it a go. And he's like, all right, well, let's do try it from the still. So it's we still, I think it was like at 54 or something when I tried it, and I was like, okay, this is delicious. This is so good. Um, well, let's tank it. Let's put it in stainless steel tanks, and let's try to, like, come up with a story, or like a reasoning for something like this to come out. Because at the time I was like, all right, still strength. Do I want to release a still strength, or maybe it's just another, like, a blanco, a different blanco, different color blanco. Uh, and then I was like, everybody's releasing still strengths. I was like, me too. I have something in the tank. It's still strength. Let's rock and roll. Let's do that. Um, but it's been sitting in stainless steel tanks for 2 years.
What?
So yeah, so that's why when I had it, it was 54% ABV. Everybody else still strength, still it's 50.696. So it's been naturally aerating in stainless steel for 2 years.
To me, I
Uh,
get a shit ton of lemon zest.
so here's another thing about the distillery. When you go, CJ, you'll see, and you'll do a tour. Is the distillery is surrounded by citrus trees, like actual, like, groves.
Gotcha. So you're pulling in some of that natural yeast that's in the air.
Yeah, so it's you'll get citrus groves. You'll get they have peaches. They have strawberry fields. They have guayaba, I mean guava. I don't know. Gotta translate. I wasn't sure. And I think that imparts a lot of flavor.
Yeah.
But it's they have yeah, it's a crazy, because it's kind of like a marriage, because the process is Highland, right? So you still get all that Highland citrusy, like citrus notes from the surrounding area, obviously. But then when you try it, and you get that minerality that's really nice from the valley. So it's a nice marriage of the two. And the higher ABV, I also don't think this drink's like 50.696. But it's definitely super enjoyable.
Yeah, I get a ton of like lemon zest, not lemon, but lemon
Yeah,
zest.
like the
Um,
peel. Yeah.
yeah, which is nice. Nice. Um, yeah, a little
So
bit
now
more minerality, a little bit more pepper
yeah,
than
so
the
the
rest
big
of them.
difference between this is that same process, but fermentation for the first time is with fibers.
Oh,
So we
okay.
haven't done that before. We don't do that in any of our other products. But we did it with this one. Experimental. It was, I mean, it's an experimental lot. Uh, so we're like, hey, well, if we're gonna do something crazy with it, I mean, let's just, see what happens, kind of thing. So, we threw some fibers in that for that fermentation. So that's the biggest difference.
So open air fermentation with fibers. How long did it ferment? 5, 6 days?
Uh, I think it was pretty close to 5 days.
Okay. And then, of course, you distill it twice. And then it sat for how long in stainless steel tanks?
2 years.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
Yeah. But we go back to that what I was saying earlier. Like, if you like it, bottle it. I just I loved it. Initially, I just didn't know what to do with it. It was one of those things.
Right.
And then also money goes into play, right? You have to like pay for
Right.
labels, pay for bottles, pay for this, pay for that. So it was kind of like, all right, well, it's really good, but I'm gonna wait off. It's a blanco. Nothing will happen. It'll aerate. ABV will go down. Nothing crazy like that. But it's just, yeah, it's been in the tank for 2 years, and then now seeing everybody's reaction to it, it's like I kind of wish I would have done it earlier. It's definitely something people are really liking it and enjoying it. So it's
Oh, I
now I
can
know for
definitely.
next time.
Yeah, but I mean, are you going to wait 2 years?
No, no. So it's it's gonna be one of those things. Like, I don't know if I could duplicate it, or like, can I make it again?
Because that was a special
Uh,
field.
right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's exactly. So it's the reaction and what everybody is saying and the way it's moving. I'm contemplating a lot too. Um, but again, it would be duplicating or making the same process again. But then I don't know about the wait time of the 2 years. So that's gonna be the big separator from lot one bias to lot two bias. That's I don't know if I want to wait 2 years.
That's a lot of waiting. And
Yeah.
I guess the thing that I really am kind of blown away. I mean, generally, when you talk most brands, I mean, it goes from Blanco to Repo to you know Anejo to extra Anejo, but you tweak something every expression. Well, we're going to put this in a French oak barrel, or we're going to put this in an American oak barrel, or you're always playing with it. So somebody's got to keep a logbook of, okay, what did you do this time?
Yeah.
And
Claudio
how long do
is
we
my
have to wait
guy.
until you redo it?
Yeah, yeah. Claudio is my bookkeeper, if you will. He has all the weights and measures written down. He's the guy. He's my bookkeeper. He has a little journal he keeps just for me, just for Xolo, with all everything I like, didn't like, barrel that I liked, barrel that I didn't like, barrel that I want to wait longer, barrel that is too oaked and stuff like that we could blend later on, stuff like that. So he has everything written down, which is, I mean, he's a godsend because I mean, you once you get to the 13th barrel, my notes get real rough to to where, like, I don't
Yeah,
know if I said I like this one or if I said I didn't like this one, and Claudio's on it. Boom.
yeah. Your palate's pretty much blown away, and I mean, you're still
That
tasting
too.
it, but
Yeah. Yeah.
you're really not tasting it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, this one, yes,
What do you think?
amazing.
Different?
It's different. Like I said, still very. I'm not going to say very citrusy, but to me, on the nose, I was picking up a ton of like lemon zest, which was nice out of a lowland agave, but it still drinks like it has a little bit of the sweetness, but there's a lot more uh, pepper
Mineral.
on it.
Yeah.
That again, if you wanted to do a really good Paloma or margarita or ranch water, this would cut
Yeah.
through everything and just make the perfect drink. I
Absolutely.
would drink it just as is, and
Yeah.
I don't have to drink half as much as, well, not half, but it would be very enjoyable. Yes, I do like it, the lowland, on this higher proof.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's definitely a special. It doesn't go with the lot, with the core lot. You know, it's not the fingerprint. It's definitely something out of the ordinary for Xolo, which is kind of nice. The reaction for it has been very positive. My highest rated on Tequila Matchmaker so far. So I'm not complaining, you know.
Yes. You got killer fucking ratings. I mean, if somebody was to look at the ratings on Tequila Matchmaker today, I typically look for an 85 and above. If it's 84 and lower, or 84 to 80, I might question it a little bit, and then I'm going to look at the nom, look at how many ratings there is. But yours are, if I remember correctly, they're all almost right around 90. And you
For the
have
Valles, they're all
190,
around
right?
90. What's that?
Yeah, you have one at 90 right now, don't you?
The Valles, the high proof, the still strength is
Yeah,
at 90.
yeah. And guys, if that doesn't tell you, you need to fucking order it today. You need to order it today.
Yeah. Yeah, there's only 1,000 bottles of Valles, the still strength, out there. So and they're gonna have to wait till lot two, and hopefully it comes out the same without being rested 2 years. So that that'll be the telltale, right? Like that's gonna be
Right. And
yeah.
then, the extra anejo and anejo. Well, I mean, that Hoven too. I mean, they're all good children, you know. We're going to send them
I'm not
all to
mad at any
Catholic
of them.
school.
Yeah, I'm not mad at any of them. They're all great.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be hard to pick a favorite child out of it, but yeah.
See, I'm
I
telling
mean,
you.
they're all so close, when you start talking, you know, anejo, extra anejo, and it's probably the presentation on the extra anejo that would make me lean more towards that. Um, Even though there may be a slight price difference, I would just love to have that etched bottle on the extra anejo.
Yeah,
But they're both
another
so close.
another thing to note, CJ, is just real quick. Um, I sold my last 1 liter extra añejo bottle uh 2 weeks ago. So whatever's out in the market is it for liter extra añejo bottles. I will not. I don't have any more, and I will not be making any more. I don't know how
Will the
much
750s
Roadrunner
be etched?
has. What's that?
Will the 700s be etched?
The 700s will still be etched, but as far as
Okay.
liter bottles, extra añejo, there won't be anymore.
All right. I'm going to have to run over to Roadrunner real quick.
Yeah, I don't know how many he has. You might have you might have to go somewhere else. I think for the extra añejo if he doesn't have any.
I'll wait until we're done. Um, and my wife's probably watching us like, no, you're not.
Yeah,
Shutting
you
off the
better
Wi-Fi.
not. It's free shipping. That's funny.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I appreciate you coming on. It's really an amazing tequila you got. I love the Highland. I really like your high proof lowland. The higher proof really makes it. You still get citrus in it that I love from the Highlands. And while it's not heavy on the pepper, you still get a little bit of the pepper, um, that I think would cut amazingly in like a citrus drink of almost any kind. And yeah, the twins, the extra anejo and anejo. I mean, yeah, I'd take them both to a dance someday.
There you
Um,
go.
it's they're both amazing. So
Thank you.
um,
That means a lot. I appreciate it. You know, it's always a little nerve-wracking doing lives and meeting with people, and especially like when you told me that you hadn't tried the still strength and the hoe in you. I was like, oh boy, here, it's reactions always kind of, you always want people to have a good reaction, obviously. But I'm super happy that you enjoyed it, loved it, and like my small brand. It means a lot.
Next time I go down there, I'm hoping I can get another trip in. My wife's going to look at me like I'm ready to move down there and probably kick me out of the house. But I'd really love to go down there and visit the distillery, hang out with you and your master distillers. And, who knows? Well, maybe we'll make that the next 1414 place. And it's one of those places you go and it's a blur when you leave.
There you
And
go.
it's memorable.
Yeah, that would be something cool. Exactly. Yeah. I don't remember, but I loved it.
Yes, I had an amazing time, but I can't tell you what
Yeah,
we did.
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So,
So how was it? It was great. What'd you do? I don't know.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
I, I I highly recommend. Really, there's not a bad expression. I wouldn't tell anybody that, you know, there's in your lot especially. Usually I always say there's a star of the show. It, it's tough to say that there is a star of the show out of this batch. And because there's so many of them that they have little hints of something that really makes it special for that particular expression, and they're all super amazing. Your master distillers kicked it in the ass, and you've picked it at the right time, I feel, on all these expressions. I can't wait to see what you come up with in the future.
No pressure.
No pressure. I mean, it's all uphill from here, right?
All uphill. All uphill. Yeah,
Yeah,
like I said,
all
every
uphill.
lot just getting better. Every lot's
Yeah.
just getting better.
All right, guys, we'll kill it. If you stick with me for 2 seconds after, um, guys, I highly recommend picking it up. Again, I can't say enough good things about it. It is truly a good tequila. I will have all the bottles on my shelf at the house that I can't wait to share with friends, um, and hopefully get them to start stocking it on their shelves. Um, there's no heavy, barrel notes in it. They're all it's all like a very light dessert, or you know a girl that you want to take home to mama. um they're amazing, and I hope you enjoy them as much as I did. So, you got any last words? You want to do a plug somewhere?
A plug. I mean, thank you for being here. Thank you for sitting with us. I appreciate it. Every purchase is, a little push forward, and please don't keep Cholo a secret. Don't keep it to your don't keep it to yourself. Let your friends know that it's good, that it's tasty. Um, Enjoy the liter bottles while they're out there. Probably a couple more lots of different styles, but it's 700 coming soon with new pricing. I appreciate everybody. I mean, I'm just so grateful to be able to do this for a living.
Well, thank you. I mean, you got an amazing brand here, and I I look forward to hopefully help you expand your distribution.
Thank you. Thanks, CJ.
Awesome. All right, guys, we'll catch up with you later. We do have some more shows coming along, and don't forget to visit allthingstequila.com for some of that apparel that you guys have been looking for. And